The hidden files why the Maldives GoPro footage remains a mystery. There is one question beneath almost every discussion of the Maldives cave tragedy. What is on the GoPro? 5 Italian divers entered the Devana Kandu cave system on May 14, 2026. None returned alive. Their bodies were eventually located by specialist recovery divers inside a deep and complicated cave system. Cameras were reportedly recovered, dive computers were recovered, personal electronic devices were seized, and a 6th diver, who had prepared to join the group but reportedly remained aboard the vessel, survived. Together, those sources could reveal more than any theory posted online. The GoPro might show the route the divers followed. The dive computers might reveal the depth, time, ascent profile, and decompression obligations. The 6th diver may know what was discussed before the group entered the water. Yet more than 2 months later, the public still has not seen the footage. That has created an enormous amount of suspicion. Was the recording damaged? Did the camera stop before the emergency? Are investigators withholding something explosive? Is the footage being protected for a criminal case? Or is the public simply expecting answers much faster than an international investigation can legally provide? The honest answer is that we do not yet know exactly what the recovered cameras contain. What we do know is that Italian prosecutors have formally requested the GoPros, dive computers, equipment, and supporting records held by authorities in the Maldives. That request is part of an ongoing Italian culpable homicide investigation. The evidence may already exist, but obtaining it, authenticating it, and turning it into a legally defensible reconstruction is much harder than simply pressing play. Today, we are examining the hidden files of the Maldives cave tragedy, what the GoPro could reveal, what it might never reveal, why the 6th diver matters, and why evidence that can be downloaded in minutes may remain inside an investigation for months. Let us begin with what happened after the cameras came out of the cave. When an action camera is recovered from approximately 60 meters underwater, investigators cannot treat it like a tourist camera found beside a swimming pool. The device may have been submerged for days. It may have suffered pressure damage. Saltwater may have entered through a seal, charging port, or cracked housing. The battery could be chemically unstable. The memory card could be damaged. And switching the camera on without proper preparation could make the situation worse. A wet electronic device may contain recoverable information even when the camera itself no longer functions. But investigators have to preserve the storage media before attempting an ordinary playback. The camera should be photographed exactly as it was received. Its serial number and physical condition should be documented. Investigators should record whether the housing was sealed, open, cracked, or damaged. If the memory card is removed, that action must be documented. A forensic copy should be created so technicians can examine the copy without repeatedly altering or stressing the original media. The goal is not merely to recover a video. The goal is to prove where the video came from and that it was not changed after recovery. That is called chain of custody. Imagine that a recovered file shows the divers entering a passage. A defense attorney could ask, who recovered this camera? Was it definitely attached to one of the victims? Who handled it after it left the cave? Who removed the memory card? Was the camera's date and time accurate? Was any section of the recording deleted? Was the footage edited? Could the file have been created on another camera? These questions may sound overly suspicious, but that is how legal evidence is tested. A powerful video is only useful in court when investigators can demonstrate that it is authentic and traceable. The Maldives controls much of the evidence because the accident and recovery occurred inside Maldivian territory. Italian investigators cannot simply fly to Malé, collect the cameras, and bring them back to Rome. They must request cooperation through formal international legal channels. Rome prosecutors have reportedly submitted an international rogatory request, seeking the equipment, personal belongings, GoPro cameras, and documentation connected with the 5 divers. An international rogatory is essentially one country's legal authorities asking another country to perform investigative actions, or transfer evidence on their behalf. This process protects the sovereignty of both nations. It also slows everything down. The request may need to be reviewed by prosecutors, courts, government departments, or diplomatic authorities. Officials may need to translate documents. The Maldives may want to complete its own forensic examination first. It may decide to send verified digital copies rather than the original devices. Investigators may also need to determine who legally owns the cameras and whether family consent is relevant to any eventual public disclosure. This is why the phrase, "the footage is hidden," can be misleading. Hidden suggests that investigators possess a clear, complete recording and have deliberately concealed it for an improper reason. There is no confirmed public evidence of that. The footage may be unavailable because it is damaged. It may be incomplete. It may show very little. It may be undergoing forensic examination. Or it may be protected, because revealing it could compromise the investigation or violate the privacy of the victims and their families. We should therefore separate two very different questions. Why has the footage not been released to the public? And has the footage been examined by investigators? Those are not the same thing. Police routinely examine evidence that is never immediately shown to the public. A criminal investigation is not a documentary production. Authorities do not normally upload every video, photograph, witness statement, or autopsy finding while the case remains active. They preserve it. They compare it with other evidence. They test whether different pieces of information support or contradict one another. And they determine whether releasing it could harm the investigation. The GoPro may be the most emotionally powerful evidence, but it cannot be interpreted alone. Suppose the camera shows the group moving farther inside the cave. That does not tell us how much breathing gas each diver had. Suppose one diver appears to turn around. That does not prove why. Suppose the video becomes cloudy with silt. That does not establish whether the silt out caused the emergency or happened after the emergency began. Suppose the camera records rapid movement. That may suggest urgency, but it does not automatically prove panic. Investigators must compare the video with the dive computers. The computers may reveal when the divers reach their maximum depth. They may show how long they remain there. They may record warning alarms. They may display rapid ascents or descents. They may show whether a diver began leaving the cave and then reversed direction. Depending on the models and configuration, they might also preserve information about selected breathing gases and decompression obligations. But dive computer data also requires careful interpretation. The device records depth and time. It does not record intention. A sudden depth change might indicate that a diver deliberately descended. It might indicate that the diver followed another person. It could result from moving through the cave's structure. It could even occur after the diver was already incapacitated. Data creates a timeline. It does not automatically explain the decisions behind that timeline. The same problem applies to gas calculations. Viewers have repeatedly debated whether a standard cylinder could support a dive near 60 meters. At the surface, a diver may consume approximately 15 to 25 liters of gas per minute, depending on fitness, workload, and breathing habits. At 60 meters, the surrounding pressure is approximately 7 atmospheres absolute. That means the same breathing rate, measured as surface consumption, requires roughly 7 times as much gas at depth. A diver with a surface consumption rate of 20 liters per minute would use approximately 140 liters per minute at 60 meters. A 12-liter cylinder filled to 200 bar contains approximately 2,400 liters of gas under idealized calculations. Divide 2,400 by 140, and the mathematical result appears to be about 17 minutes. But that is not 17 safe minutes inside a cave. The diver cannot use every liter. Gas must be reserved for the exit. Additional gas is needed for ascent and decompression. Stress can sharply increase breathing. Swimming against resistance increases consumption. Helping another diver consumes even more. And in an overhead environment, reaching a shallower depth is not as simple as swimming upward. A direct calculation may explain why gas disappears rapidly. It does not prove exactly when these divers ran out or whether gas exhaustion was the initiating event. That distinction matters. This channel examines pressure physics, gas consumption, narcosis, visibility, and cave navigation because those factors help us understand the possible risk chain. But a what-if scenario is not the same as a final conclusion. When I say that a diver at 60 meters could consume gas approximately 7 times faster than at the surface, that is pressure physics. When I say the group definitely ran out of gas at a specific location, that would require evidence we do not yet have. When I explain that nitrogen narcosis can impair judgment at depth, that is established diving physiology. When I say that every diver in this incident was definitely incapacitated by narcosis, that would be speculation unless medical, behavioral, or recorded evidence supports it. This difference between fact and reconstruction is extremely important. Some viewers ask, why discuss possible scenarios at all? Because accident analysis is built from scenarios. Investigators develop possible sequences and then test each one against the evidence. Did the divers intentionally enter the cave? Did they take a wrong passage? Did disturbed sediment obscure the exit? Did one diver experience a problem that caused the group to remain together? Did strong current increase exertion? Did gas reserves become insufficient? Did narcosis or oxygen exposure affect decision-making? Did the group have the correct guideline, lights, redundant gas, and decompression plan? Each hypothesis creates predictions. If the group became disoriented, the camera might show repeated turns or a silt out. If gas became critical, the computers might show unusual movement near the end of the profiles. If one diver suffered an emergency first, the footage might show the group gathering around that person. If the team knowingly followed a pre-planned route, messages or briefings before the dive might describe it. Good investigation does not begin by choosing the most dramatic theory. It begins by asking which theory best fits all the evidence. That brings us to the 6th diver. Reports indicate that a female University of Genoa student had prepared to participate, but withdrew shortly before the dive and remained aboard the Duke of York. Some online discussions have described her as being in witness protection. There is no verified public evidence supporting that claim. There is also no confirmed public statement saying she has been legally prohibited from speaking. What has been reported is that she has assisted investigators and may be a key witness concerning what happened before the group entered the water. Her importance does not come from witnessing the underwater emergency. She did not enter the cave with the 5 divers. Her importance comes from what she may have heard or observed before the dive. Was the cave specifically discussed? What maximum depth was planned? Who led the briefing? Was anyone concerned about the conditions? Did she withdraw because she felt unwell, lacked confidence, disliked the plan, or simply changed her mind? What equipment did she see? Was the group carrying 1 cylinder each or redundant gas? Were guidelines, reels, and backup lights visible? Did anyone describe the dive as scientific research? Did anyone describe it as a private recreational excursion? What time were the divers expected back? What did the vessel crew believe the group was doing? Those questions could make her testimony extremely important. But they also explain why she might not speak publicly. A witness in an active criminal investigation is often advised not to discuss evidence with the media. Public comments can create inconsistencies. A poorly translated interview can distort meaning. Online users may dissect every sentence. Defense lawyers may later compare informal comments with formal testimony. The witness may also be grieving, frightened, or simply unwilling to have her identity turned into public entertainment. Silence does not prove guilt. It does not prove a cover-up. And it does not prove she possesses a secret answer explaining the entire disaster. It may mean she is cooperating privately, and allowing the legal process to proceed. The sixth diver's account must also be compared with everyone else aboard the vessel. Reports indicate that numerous other passengers and crew members were present. They may have heard conversations. They may have seen the divers preparing. They may know when the group entered the water and when concern began. The vessel's records may show the planned site and schedule. Phone messages may reveal discussions between the divers and operator. Permit records may clarify what activity had been authorized. The investigation is therefore not dependent on one witness alone, but her last-minute refusal remains one of the most haunting parts of the story. 5 people continued. 1 stayed behind. The reasons for that decision could reveal something important, or they may have had nothing to do with the eventual disaster. Until she or investigators provide a verified account, we should resist filling that silence with assumptions. Now we reach the most difficult part. What might the footage actually show? The public often imagines one perfect camera recording the entire sequence from the moment the group entered the cave until the final emergency. Real underwater footage may be much less clear. The camera could have been mounted on a diver's mask, chest, wrist, or handheld rig. Its view may point toward a wall. Bubbles may obscure the image. Torch beams may overwhelm the sensor. The camera might repeatedly move between darkness and overexposure. Inside a silted cave, the footage could become a screen filled with brown or white particles, reflecting the light. Audio may consist mainly of breathing, bubbles, equipment noise, and impacts. Hand signals may be partly visible but difficult to interpret. The recording clock may not match the actual local time. The video may stop because the diver turned it off, not because that moment marked the beginning of the emergency. Or the camera may continue recording after the wearer is no longer capable of controlling it. Investigators will need experts who understand both digital evidence and cave diving. A general police technician may recover the file, but a technical diving expert may be needed to interpret what the divers are doing. Is that hand movement a normal signal? Is the diver checking pressure? Is someone sharing gas? Is the line visible? Is the group following the wall or searching? Does the video show a jump from one guideline to another? Are bubbles moving in a way that indicates current? How quickly is silt reducing visibility? How much effort are the divers exerting? Without expert interpretation, viewers might mistake normal cave diving behavior for panic, or fail to recognize a genuine emergency. The recovery team has already offered an important possible reconstruction. The 4 divers found deepest in the cave were located together in a dead-end section beyond a sandbank or obstruction that may have visually concealed the correct route. Recovery specialists suggested that the group could have mistaken the dead-end direction for the way out, although this remains a reconstruction rather than a final legal finding. That theory gives investigators something specific to test. Does the GoPro show the group passing the true exit? Does it show them changing direction? Is a guideline present? Do the dive computer profiles show extended time inside the final chamber? Were the 4 divers still together when the recording stopped? And what separated Benedetti from the others? His body was recovered closer to the cave entrance at approximately 60 meters, while the remaining 4 were found deeper inside the system. That separation may be one of the investigation's most important clues. Did he turn back first? Was he leading from the front or following from behind? Did he experience an equipment or medical problem? Did the group separate while trying to find the exit? Did he reach the entrance but become unable to complete the ascent? The GoPro footage and individual computer profiles may help reconstruct those movements, but even that evidence may not produce a single unmistakable answer. Accidents often involve overlapping failures. A poor plan can place divers in a dangerous environment. High gas consumption can reduce the time available to solve a navigation problem. Narcosis can slow judgment. Silt can remove visual references. Stress can accelerate breathing. A wrong turn can increase decompression exposure. One diver's emergency can keep the entire team inside longer. By the time the final problem becomes visible, several earlier decisions may already have eliminated the safe options. This is why investigators are unlikely to release a final narrative based only on preliminary autopsies or one recovered recording. Autopsies may establish drowning. Toxicology may reveal substances or physiological clues. But an autopsy cannot reconstruct the cave route. The GoPro may show the route, but it may not identify each diver's breathing gas. The dive computers may establish depth and time, but they cannot reveal every human decision. Witnesses may describe the plan, but they did not see the underwater events. A reliable conclusion requires all these sources to be placed on the same timeline. The legal investigation is also examining questions beyond the immediate cause of death. Maldivian officials said the group had authorization for coral research, but that authorities had not been informed of a deep cave diving plan. The University of Genoa said the fatal dive was a private activity outside the planned research mission. Authorities also stated that the Duke of York lacked the required dive school permit, while the operation said it had authorization for recreational diving within the 30-meter limit. Those details create several different lines of responsibility. Who organized the dive? Who selected the site? Who understood that the cave entrance was near 55 to 60 meters? Who supplied the cylinders? Who approved the divers entering the water? What did the crew believe the planned maximum depth would be? Was the excursion supported by the vessel or arranged privately by the divers? Did anyone have a legal duty to stop them? A GoPro might explain the final minutes. It may not explain the decisions that placed the group there. That evidence may exist in messages, permits, witness interviews, and vessel documentation. This is why the investigation remains broader than the camera. The Italian authorities have seized electronic equipment and personal devices that returned with the victims' belongings, while seeking additional equipment and records still held in the Maldives. Italian prosecutors are investigating potential culpable homicide, but opening that inquiry does not establish that any specific person or company is guilty. The Maldivian investigation must examine what happened inside its territory. Italy must determine whether criminal negligence contributed to the deaths of its citizens. The same evidence may be needed by both countries. That creates delay. It also means the public may not receive frequent updates. Investigators do not always announce every file recovered or witness interviewed. Silence between official developments can feel suspicious, but silence is not proof that nothing is happening. As of now, there is no publicly confirmed final report explaining the complete chain of events. There is no verified public release of the victims' recovered GoPro footage. There is no confirmed evidence that the sixth diver is in formal witness protection. And there is no final court determination assigning criminal responsibility. Those are the boundaries of what we know. Beyond those boundaries are theories. Some may eventually prove accurate. Others may collapse the moment the digital evidence is examined. That is why this channel will continue examining the technical possibilities while clearly identifying what is confirmed and what remains hypothetical. Gas math can show how quickly breathing reserves diminish at depth. Pressure physics can explain why the same breath costs more gas at 60 meters. Cave diving principles can demonstrate why a guideline and redundant equipment matter. Human factors analysis can explain how stress, fixation, and group pressure affect decisions. But none of those lessons allows us to declare exactly what happened to these 5 people without the evidence. The purpose of reconstruction is not to accuse the victims. It is not to turn their final moments into entertainment. It is to understand how experienced people can enter an environment with almost no margin for error, and why safety systems must exist before the emergency begins. The GoPro may eventually reveal a wrong turn. It may reveal an equipment problem. It may show the group calmly following a plan that they believed was manageable. It may record confusion. It may record nothing useful at all. Even if the footage is eventually released, it may create new questions instead of answering every old one. And there is another issue. Should the raw footage ever be released publicly? There is a strong argument for transparency. Divers could learn from the sequence. Experts could analyze the route and equipment. A public reconstruction could expose unsafe practices and prevent another tragedy. But there is also a powerful argument for privacy. These were real people. The footage may contain their final moments. Their families may not want those images circulating permanently on social media. Public release could also interfere with prosecutions, witness testimony, and the right to a fair trial. A responsible compromise may be an official technical report that describes what the footage shows without publishing every second of the raw recording. Investigators could produce a timeline. They could release diagrams of the route. They could summarize hand signals and equipment problems. They could include selected still images when legally and ethically appropriate. That might educate the diving community while protecting the victim's dignity. For now, however, the footage remains part of an unfinished investigation. The camera may be in an evidence room. The memory card may be undergoing forensic recovery. A copy may already have been reviewed in the Maldives. Italy may still be waiting to receive the original equipment or an authenticated duplicate. We cannot responsibly claim more than the evidence currently supports. But we can say this: the GoPro is not important because it promises a sensational final video. It is important because it may connect the technical evidence with human behavior. Depth tells us where they went. Time tells us how long they stayed. Gas calculations tell us how quickly their margin could disappear. The camera may tell us what they believed they were doing. And the sixth diver may help explain what they believed before they entered the water. Those are the hidden files. A camera recovered from darkness, computers carrying silent timelines, messages stored on seized devices, a witness who remained behind, and two countries trying to turn fragments of evidence into one defensible account. The public wants the answer now. The families deserve accuracy more than speed. So here's the question I want to leave with you. If investigators recover a clear recording of the group's final minutes, should the raw GoPro footage eventually be released? Should it be shown for transparency and diver education? Or should it remain sealed, with only an official reconstruction provided to the public? And consider an even more difficult question. If you were the sixth diver, the one person who decided not to enter that water, would you speak publicly? Or would you remain silent until the investigation and court process were complete? Tell me what you think in the comments, because the camera may already contain part of the truth. The mystery is when and how much of it the public will ever be allowed to see.